Okay, good afternoon and welcome to Shulchan Aruch Iyun. I'm thinking about renaming it Benzion Reacts, Benzie's Reactions to the Shulchan Aruch. A lot of reaction shows on YouTube. How does Mr. Beast react? Has Ben Shapiro react to his most viral moments? Has Mr. Beast react to the top 25 TikTok videos of 2021? Mr. Beast, if he's watching it, he sees an interesting video of someone like doing like these like cartwheels and like flying in the air, and they jump off like a bridge onto like another piece onto like a little island, and they keep on jumping, doing these flips, head flips. Mr. Beast is like, you should have done it on my show and got $1 million out of it. Or he's like, it's not impressive. I'm impressed by the guy who kept his hand on the Lamborghini for 200 days. If you know what Mr. Beast videos are, you understand the joke. Anyway, um, so we're talking today about Loag the Rosh. Um, halacha, you're not supposed to go into a cemetery wearing your tzitzis, or you're supposed to put your tzitzis in when you go into the cemetery, because you're violating Loag Larash. Now, there's two Makoros in the Gemara. Loag Larash means you're embarrassing the dead person. You're saying, ha, I'm wearing tzitzis, I'm doing mitzvahs, I'm chayavim mitzvahs. And the mace, mentioned mace, chafshi min mitzvahs, you're pater min mitzvahs. You don't get to do the mitzvahs anymore, I do. And I'm doing it, I'm doing her face like the person is still lying there in his grave, and he didn't realize what was going on. I don't know what happens to a person after he dies, but I'd imagine his neshama or his soul or his metaphysical being, whatever that is not really there anymore. But anyway, you're embarrassing, and maybe it's just for you. It's musar. You shouldn't try to embarrass people. You should care about other people's feelings. There's two makoros in the Gemara for seemingly this halacha. The first makor is the Gemara in Brachos on Daf Yud Ches and Aleph. The Gemara says that they were walking to Amoraim, were walking in a cemetery, and Shadia Tchelsa, one of the Tcheles, it doesn't say all this, it doesn't say Tcheles, it says the Tcheles was hanging out, and the other Amora told them, tuck it in. You don't want to see it, because Lamachar Baines Leno and Achsha Mecharfin Osano, meaning tomorrow they're going to come to us. They're not going to be able to do the mitzvah tzitzis. All right, they could die any day, and now they think they're alive, so they can just embarrass us. I noted in the shir and previous Iyun shiurim that Itaka says tchelis over there because, like the Gemara says, tchelis is representative of the reward that HaKadosh Baruch Hu bestows on us with the mitzvah. There's two halakim. There's a lavan and the tchelis. The tchelis, we look at the tchelis, we look at the tchelis. That's why the tchelis should be outside. You look at it, and you remind you of the sea, and remind you of the sky, and of Hashem, and the Kisei Kavod, and His reward. He's going to give us the tchelis that's reminiscent of it, and the tchelis you should be talking in. But it doesn't say Loeg Larash in that Gemara. It says something else. It says not that they're getting the mitzvah of tchelis, meaning it could be that that tchelis is like a reward or something like that, and it's a symbol of what a reward could look like. That's what I said. People wear them as fringes, but they're supposed to remind you of a deeper thing and remind you of the reward that you get to properly enjoy yourself in the bedroom with your wife. And that's what they're saying. Meaning you haven't reached a madrega where you're worthy of getting the reward of the tcheles, and you're showing off now. Meaning it's on you. You're gonna die. You're in a basic forest. You should be thinking about death now. You could die any second, and you haven't achieved that level where you're gonna get to the reward for the tcheles. But your sister's in because put your tcheles in because think about it. Think about how you don't deserve this. Then there's a Gemara in Menachos, and the Gemara says that when you make tachrichin for a mace, if you plan on wearing it, tachrichin, let's say you make a kittel, we talked about this before, you make a kittel that you're going to wear during your lifetime, and you also plan to be buried in it also. So if it's predominantly just made for shroud, and you happen to wear it, you happen to wear it not in ofen keva, not in a permanent way, you just happen to decide to wear it on a whim once. So you're not chayiv tzitzis because the beged is made for a dead person. Dead pturim on mitzvos. So even while you're alive, you're patur from the mitzvah. Since we discussed this halacha previously, maybe bachlokas practically within the Rambam and the Rush. And then the Gemara says, "He shaita." At that moment, in the moment you die, right? Vaday raminan lei. For sure, you make sure to put on tzitzis on that beged, on the tachrichet, right? Mishum lo l'rosh chayvelo sayu. So they explain that he's dead now. Now he's dead, and he's wearing the tachrichet. So he has a four-cornered beged that's chayiv and tzitzis. So if you don't put on the tzitzis, so it's lo l'rosh, right? Because he could have done the mitzvah of tzitzis, and now because he's dead, he technically not chayiv in the mitzvah of tzitzis. We put it on anyway. So you shouldn't be embarrassed. Now, this is talking about not other people walking in the Beis HaKvar. This is talking about the mace himself. The mace himself, according to Rashi's explanation, that it would be embarrassing for him, for the dead person, to not wear tzitzis because it's reminding him of the fact that you're dead and you're not mechayev in the mitzvah, you're not mechayev to put on tzitzis. So we do it to allay his embarrassment. This is not an indication that other people walking in the Beis HaKvaros are responsible for lo l'rosh chayv l'seyu, that they're wearing their tzitzis out, so that's an embarrassment to the dead person. It's only mashma. You can't logically say, oh, it must be that also for other people. Maybe just for the dead person himself, because he was chayiv in the mitzvos. He's wearing a beged of 4 knafos, and he should put on tzitzis, but he's dead, so he can't put on tzitzis. On him, he put on tzitzis. Why did the Gemara say the bigger chiddush? Even other people walking in the Beis HaKvar, they have to tuck their tzitzis in, so the dead person shouldn't see it and be reminded, right? It's a lot more loeg l'rash. If he's actually wearing something that is chayiv in mitzvah tzitzis, and he's not doing it, that's embarrassing. Just because he sees other people wearing it, especially if he has a beged with tzitzis on it, right? Because v'adei raminan lei, it means all the mesim have the tzitzis on them, and they're going to be embarrassed because other people practically are walking around with their tzitzis out. Even if they're not. I mean, who says other people, we care, the dead person cares about other people? And so I conclude that the pshat in the Gemara is not like Rashi. It's actually the opposite of what Rashi is trying to say, is that we put it on him to embarrass the mace. We embarrass. Lo l'rosh chayv l'seyu means that someone who mocks a poor person, a dead person, chayv l'seyu, has embarrassed them. Tells you the Metzias has embarrassed him. You should embarrass him. You should put on tzitzis and mock him and say, listen, you're dead. You could have been Mekayim the mitzvah. And now you're not Mekayim the mitzvah. Now you're not getting the mitzvah of tzitzis. You're wearing it on your beged. Look at it. You did a person on the beged is wearing it, and you're not being Mekayim the mitzvah. Tzitzis, you should be embarrassed. It's dead. The people who are dead usually get embarrassed. And other things happen to them also, which probably are not so good. So at the end of the day, there's no proof from either of these Gemaras that other people in the Beis HaKvaros have to put on tzitzis, and there's an unbelievable Mishnah Brura here which says that even if you go by the grave of a katan who's not chayiv in mitzvos, you have to worry that he has an neshama of Adam Gadol. It's Mishnah Brura Paskins. So therefore, if he's a boy who is under Kaddish Lo Giya L'Chinuch and he's not obligated mitzvahs, there's still Lo Giya L'Rush because he's maybe the neshama of Adam Gadol. I mean, this is taking it to the brink. I mean, this is too much for me. I'm sorry. When do we have to worry about Gilgulim? I mean, if that's true, so we should be worrying about, every halacha in Shulchan Aruch is called into question over here because, how do we know what's really underneath the person, the veneer of the person, the facade of the person? You see a person on the outside, maybe he's a shade inside. Maybe he's someone else. Maybe he doesn't exist really. It's just a facade, and he doesn't really exist, the person. Maybe the woman's a girl. I don't know. How can you Mekadesh? Maybe it's a man. Maybe the neshama. He has a neshama of a girl. Maybe he's a neshama of a boy. Looks like a girl to you. There's a girl on the outside. She's a neshama of a boy. So you can't be Mekadesh her, right? Because it's homosexuality. Because you're Mekadesh. You're a man. You're Mekadesh. This girl, she seems like a girl on the outside, but maybe she has a neshama of a man. She has a neshama of a man, so they treat him like a man, and it's homosexuality if they're together with her. I mean, if we're worrying about these things, we're going to run into a lot of problems in halacha. I don't know how this makes it into the Mishnah Brura, and it's not questioned by anyone, even the Dirshu just adds on. Mutam, and he brings more things. Loeg l'rash, you can't daven, you can't say tehillim, you can't even make bakashos. Can't even say, please God, give me refuah shlema, give me a shidduch parnasa. Loing the rush. The rush kid, the poor person doesn't have to. He can't have to be worried about asking for a shidduch. A terrible thing. You're embarrassing. He wants to be asking for a shidduch also. Crazy stuff. I don't know. Tell me what you think in the comments below. See you tomorrow.